Okay, so if you've spent any time on the internet lately, you will have seen tons of buzz surrounding the latest Universal Pictures film, Twisters, especially its leading man / the internet's newest boyfriend, Glenn Powell. Join us as we discuss Powell's rise to stardom, his current peak status in pop culture, he's literally everywhere, and his widespread appeal. What's happening?
Howdy.
Hello.
How are you?
Befuddled? Delighted?
If you feel it, chase it.
Oh, okay. Sorry. It's so good. Just flopping up the feet. How did that feel to you?
Feels good. You want to do it the other way?
We'll try both. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm happy with it if you're happy with it.
Let's do it. Okay. Hello. All right. Hello, and welcome to Once More Unhinged, our weekly chat show where we get together to discuss whatever we're reading, watching, listening to, engaging with, obsessed with. I'm Jen Katz.
And I'm Chris Hemsworth. And I'm Glenn Powell.
Wow, Glenn, great to have you.
AKA Ryan something.
This is amazing.
If you feel it, chase it, Jen.
That's what I always say.
That's all I have.
I am in awe of your commitment to this bit here.
Commit to the bit.
Commit to the bit, as they say.
Have you seen The Weight Room? Is it in this direction? That direction?
Okay.
Okay. What are we talking about today, Jenny?
Well, I am thrilled. I am just beside myself with this. This is great. Please don't stop with that. Today, we're going to be talking about Glenn Powell.
Glenn Powell. I know him. He's all over the place.
He is all over the place. Yeah. As we said at the top of the show, Glenn Powell is everywhere. And it's amazing. I am so here for this because I think he is a great actor.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
He seems like a really nice person. No, sorry, I can't. Okay.
You can't even.
I can't even do it.
You can't even do it.
Yeah.
Can't keep a straight face.
I can't.
He's hot.
He's
there it is. Let's
hot.
Just come out with it.
With respect. I'm saying this as respectfully as
as you're able.
As I'm able, that my intentions are pure. He's very attractive. And this came about because he is literally all over the internet. Yeah. Twisters, the film, Universal Studios film, just premiered.
Oh yeah, and they're in full promotion mode.
The PR machine is cranked out for this movie. And two of my really good friends, former guests of the pod, Mavish,
and her sister,
Hiba, shout out, have seen it. I think Hiba, correct me if I'm wrong, please write in. You've seen it 3 times now, 2 or 3 times.
Hiba.
Yeah, I mean, she's a woman of science. She's out there doing the research.
Take a walk,
She's doing the Lord's work by seeing this movie.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Madonna's Lord's work is what she's doing.
Oh my God. But we've been talking about Glenn Powell, the 3 of us in a group chat. And I mean, anytime you get on TikTok, it's Glenn Powell. Glenn Powell this, Glenn Powell that. And it just made me I thought it would be a fun idea. So thank you for doing this with me.
You're welcome.
He is a fellow Texan.
Howdy.
We are Texans, begrudgingly sometimes on my part, but fellow Texan. And he's been a working actor for a really long time. You know, everybody's on TikTok and Instagram Reels all over the place about, oh, have you guys heard of Glenn Powell? It's like, he's been working for a long time.
Yeah.
He was in one of the Spy Kids movies. And I mean, what did you didn't realize he was a featured extra in The Dark Knight Rises?
It was The Dark Knight. Yeah. I was going through his IMDb and I thought, oh, wow. You know, there's the stuff that we've seen him in recently. And there's been a big push. He's had a lot of stuff come out in recent years where he's been a featured part.
Yes.
It was Dark Knight that kind of caught my attention because that wasn't too long ago, but I started looking at it. Oh my God, it was 12 years ago.
It was 12 years ago, yeah.
And he was a featured extra or just background part. But
Stockbroker one,
right.
Something, yeah.
So, there's a little bit of the shot to stardom that has happened really over the past decade for him. But you're right. He's been, actively working for much longer than that. Yeah. Speaking of background.
Oh.
If I'm not mistaken, you were a background artist in a movie co-starring Glenn Powell.
I sure
Everybody Wants Some.
Was. Yeah. So this is also one of the reasons why I was really excited to talk about Glenn Powell and his work today is in 2015, I believe, is when we filmed it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody Wants Some, directed by Richard Linklater, and he has described it as the spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And
those are the vibes I got.
Very much that. Yeah. And a friend of ours was a stand-in for one of the principal casts, and he was talking about, they need background, and I signed up. And it was so much fun. This was the first time I'd ever done something like that. You and I have done background work before together. It's a lot of fun. I think it's fun for us because we're not pursuing a career in acting. Well, I don't want to speak for you, sir.
Not that we wouldn't.
But it's not like I'm not hitting the pavement, going to auditions and things like that. Yeah. I'm just like, oh, this is cool. I enjoy film. I enjoy TV. It's nice to see how the
sausage is made.
How the sausage is made. Fuck. No, over here. So what an experience for someone who'd never done any kind of background work before. I had to, it's set in 1980, whereas Dazed and Confused is famously set in the 70s. Mm-hmm. So I had to go to a fitting and get period appropriate costumes. And
they nailed it with the vibe of the film.
Yeah.
The costuming, the cars, all of it.
The cars.
Looks great.
Yeah. And so the
wigs.
The wigs are actually pretty good. You know how I am about a wig.
I know. Yeah.
You know how I am about a wig.
And she wigs out.
I do.
On wigs.
I worked on a couple scenes, but the first one I worked on was when the main character played by Blake Jenner. It's one of the first days of school. It was the first scene that I worked on, which you can see me in the trailer, which is very exciting. Yeah. So anyway, Glenn Powell's character, Finn, is in the car with Tyler Hoechlin's character and maybe Blake Jenner's character. I can't really remember. J. Quentin Johnson, who is an actor who was I remember him being really friendly. And anyway, they're all in the car. And as you know, working in background, you're basically like glorified set pieces on some productions.
You can be.
You're not main cast.
And you're reminded of it.
You're reminded of it a lot.
Every corner.
You're not getting paid a whole lot. You're getting paid peanuts. And sometimes it can be a little like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
This was not like that. Richard Linklater and the crew were all super kind to us. And it was very much, I remember we're sitting on the steps in one of the dorms and like, okay, we're going to make this a great scene, great day, like hyping everybody up. And we were, as you do, walking back and forth, doing it over. And Glenn Powell and a couple of the other guys were throwing footballs and just talking to all of us,
Tossing the ball around like the boys.
What?
Adam Sandler.
Oh, God, sorry. I was like, is that in The Boys? They're driving the car as me and some other folks are walking by. And he was just very nice. Everyone around was like, hey, how's it going, guys? Like, it's hot out here, like making conversation. Mm-hmm. Which I want to be super clear. I understand when you're working on a production, especially with someone who is an A-list star, you do want to have some boundaries because we have been on sets where background artists are not acting professionally. Right. And they want to bother the main cast like ask questions and stuff. And I get that. But I don't know. There was just this easiness around those guys where they were not treating us like glorified set pieces. He was very kind. I remember being like, who's this guy? He's very hot. I was like, he's hot. And he's also super kind. Most of the people working on that film were great. And that's why I was like, this is what it feels like to work on any movie. Yeah. Spoiler alert. It's not. But that was my first interaction with understanding who Glenn Powell was.
Yeah. I think you hear that a lot. I think one of the things that we need to note about him, aside, we can get into his acting chops and obviously kind of the charisma and the energy that he brings, but I think he's just a down-to-earth personality that's relatable to a lot of people.
He comes across that way.
At least he's coming across
Yeah.
that way. And, hopefully his interactions with fans and his colleagues that are being relayed to us are signs of him showing like his genuine nature.
Yeah.
And I think you even kind of get that with the Brisket of it all. Can we talk about Brisket, his dog?
Please.
He's got the cutest freaking dog.
Such a cutie, which he adopted from Twisters, right? So. While he was filming Twisters.
I think he adopted the dog, and this dog is just fallen in love with him, and he's fallen in love with the dog. And I totally understand. Like to me, that's very genuine. I had a similar relationship, as you know, with my dog, Lily. And I just loved her, and she just loved me. And I get the same sort of vibe and energy. And I like that. I have a lot of respect for him because of that. Yeah.
He's, like I said, I don't know him personally. I really want to make that clear. I didn't have any other interactions with him other than working on this film, but he was very warm. He was very kind.
Yeah.
And there was one day where we were filming, might have been the same day, but it was a different scene. We're outside. Mm-hmm. It's hot. It's Texas. It's hot. This was late spring, early summer. And the principal cast, they get to sit under tents and they have water. Mm-hmm. And like him and another principal cast member, I believe it was J. Quentin Johnson, they told the crew and everybody to bring us waters and stuff. And it was just really like, wow, it was great. And I just have always remembered that. And anytime I see him in anything, I'm like, I want to watch that. Cause I think he seems like such a great person. So I'm very happy that he is having this amazing moment right now. And I really want to see Twisters. We haven't seen it yet. Sorry. We will.
Congratulations, first off, on your work on this film. It comes across in your scene with you walking.
I really gave it my all.
You really did.
I'm a method actress.
And I watched this movie, as I told you last night. I thought it was a whole lot better than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
You reminded me that we saw this movie when it came out in the theater.
At Alamo Drafthouse.
I imagine we were probably a little tipsy when we watched it.
Yeah.
But rewatching it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun watching it last night. You could feel the energy from that set translate onto film.
Yeah.
And I love the casting. I love the writing. I enjoyed the costuming and the set.
So good.
Just the entire vibe of it all was great. So that was a good film. I think the mark of a smart career is having the knack for choosing diverse and dynamic roles, which I think he's doing. He understands where his niche is, right? He understands what he brings to the screen, but he's having fun with it.
That's it.
And he's playing kind of these lighthearted characters, which is like the frat boy, the jock, the baseball player.
Yeah.
All the way to the charming boyfriend or the intellectual. And there's even the hitman where he gets to play multiple characters within the same character. That takes a lot of acting chops. So there's more to Glenn Powell than meets the eye.
Yes.
And
there's a lot to behold.
There's a lot.
Yeah,
okay. Wow.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah, and we recently watched Hitman, which is a Netflix movie with one of our other friends, and we were laughing. We were having a great time. That's
another
a movie.
Linklater film.
Oh, that's right. It is a Linklater film, and that's a great little just popcorn flick. He does a great job in it.
It's great. It was about the Texas Monthly story that came out about the gentleman who was posing as a hitman for the Houston Police Department in order to, I guess, trap
people, right? He
folks who were
looking for a hitman. Yeah. So if you were trying to find a hitman, what Glenn Powell was doing is he worked for the police department. His character, he would meet you and be like, so get you to say the thing. And then the cops come in and arrest.
Yeah.
That was a great movie.
Great film. He got to play multiple different characters, which he just had a whole lot of fun with.
He did.
Of course, he's easy on the eyes, but he is. Watching him get into all these different characters, from like a nerd to like a tough guy to, just so many different variations.
Yeah.
It was great and takes a lot of acting chops, I think.
I agree. And then, we had him as John Glenn in Hidden Figures.
Which was a great film.
That's more muted performance.
Acclaimed, right?
Yeah. It's not, Finn, the baseball player, loud. It's not.
This is good for him.
It's not Gary from The Hitman, who's kind of like a nerd, but then finds his own. He's playing all these characters.
Yeah.
Hidden Figures is a great film, and he does a great job in that. Now I want to rewatch that.
Mhm.
And then he's also in Top Gun Maverick, which that movie is credited with partially saving cinemas after COVID
Sure.
and getting people back into the theaters.
Yeah.
I loved that. I thought it was a great sequel.
Yeah. And a good film for him as well. It's checking the boxes of him doing what he does well on screen, which
Yeah.
is looking good on screen, but also playing a great character, getting into that sort of role, that sort
Right.
of character. He owns it. He
Yeah,
gets into those kind of more masculine, you know, but also a little softy on the side.
Yes. Yeah.
He's kind of nailing it. You know, I've heard so many comparisons to him and Tom Cruise. He said that Tom Cruise had given him some really good advice about, you know, being particular about the roles that you choose.
Yeah.
And really, it's about the acting, you know, whatever the phrase, there's no small parts, only small actors. And, you know, he's kind of gone with that. He's like, if you want the type of career that I have, like, it's all about choosing your parts and taking all of them because you can show off your diverse acting chops.
Yeah. I mean, another big movie in the past year, I mean, technically it came out 2023. We're now in 2024, is Anyone But You.
Yeah.
Starring Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney. And I mean, geez, you want to talk about PR.
Man, they really laid it on thick with that.
They did. And he's said, you know, there was a lot of, oh, what's going on behind the scenes, or Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell having a thing. And to me, it was very reminiscent of how Hollywood used to work. I mean, they were always fabricating romances to, you know, press and to get people interested. And
had this been the 50s, 60s, they really would have pushed them together. They would have been gone out to dinner. They would have been seen at dinner. They would have been rumors of engagement and possible even engagement and divorce.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
yeah,
but it's believable because they have such great chemistry. You can tell she's having a lot of fun. And you can tell that he's having a lot of fun because let's face it, they're two gorgeous people.
Being gorgeous on TV.
Being gorgeous. But they really do have good chemistry
They
together.
do.
It's believable.
They do. Yeah. It's just, it's great. I don't know why. I mean, and his parents.
Yeah.
His parents have had cameos in almost every movie he's been in, apparently.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, you know, they're in on the bit. There was like them at some presser. This was for Anyone But You, or they were pretending to be the sign guy from Instagram where it's like, stop trying to make Glen Powell happen. I mean, they've been on Netflix billboards. Maybe it was for Hitman.
Okay.
They're super cute. It just seemed like, I think for me, we have a lot of not so nice things that we learn about people in our media.
That's it.
And look, people are people. I am firmly of the belief that, like, I am not asking Glen Powell or any of my the people in my media that I consume to be role models.
Sure.
You know, I think we grew up in the time where Britney Spears and the Jonas Brothers and all these people were like, we're virgins.
They were expected to be role models.
And that's not fair.
It's not fair.
But it's nice to see someone who seems to be wholesome. And
I'm with you. I do think that his down-to-earth personality is very relatable. I think that he brings a certain bit of his charismatic, kind of his charm and his wit to these characters. Some of these characters, the character of Gary could have been so mundane. And let's face it, you know, the life of this individual was anything but ordinary.
Yeah.
But the character could have certainly been mundane, but he makes it where his delivery and his presence as that character makes it enjoyable.
Yeah.
And that's what he's been in all of these parts. It's his charm. It's his versatility. He fits today's Hollywood landscape right now.
Absolutely.
There's not a whole lot that we know as far as like controversial baggage, and let's knock on wood that we hope that there's really not for him.
And when we say that, we don't mean like he smoked pot or whatever. We're talking about harmful things.
Yeah. Or, you know, even the comparison of the Tom Cruise of it all. It's like, you know, here's someone of his generation who has a lot of those similar characteristics without the controversial baggage that surrounds all of that we have to unpack when we talk about
Tom Cruise. Yeah.
So, I think that there's so much that he brings to these roles. I think that he's really great at the way he's approached his career by taking some of these things that are just a lot of, that might seem kind of smaller, but having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
That character that he plays in Everybody Wants Some could have just gotten lost in the sauce
easily,
but he stood out in that way by the way he delivers his line. I think he's a great comedian.
He's got great comedic timing.
He's a very versatile actor.
He is. I think
it's going to go a long way.
And that's why all the things that we're saying, are the reasons why I think the internet is just obsessed with him right now.
I think so. He's checking all the boxes again.
He is. And I'm enjoying it, not only because we currently live in a crazy time in our country. And we unfortunately have learned over the years that people we really enjoyed in movies and TV growing up were not great people. And again, that's a whole other conversation of what standards to hold people to and what not. I'm talking about like very harmful things. Yeah. And so just to have some joy, that's the thing I like. This is just people on the internet celebrating this guy.
That's true.
Who seems like a nice person and has a lot of really good films and TV shows.
It's also a breath of fresh air to have a new leading man in Hollywood who is this likable and enjoyable. You know, there's been a lot of men similar to him that have gone before him who've, you know, done some great work in their career, but have also let Hollywood and the fame and the celebrity of it all really kind of grind them down or even affect their character. And we're not seeing that with him right now. And it's enjoyable. But, you know, I was trying to think like, man, he just reminds me of so many leading men. I was trying to compare him in some sort of way last night, and it was difficult. I'm like, man, I'm getting the Matthew McConaughey of it all, but I'm also getting the.
But he kind of has some old Hollywood vibe too.
I'm getting the old Hollywood. I'm getting his comedy is very Cary Grant.
Yeah,
where he just slips into it so easily, and it's very believable, and he's also very good looking.
Yeah,
and you're just having fun with his movies. Anyone But You, and even parts of The Hitman, to me was very Cary Grant, Katharine Hepburn-ish, where you've got that kind of 50s style comedy duo.
Yeah.
You know, I'm here for it.
I am too. I really, really enjoy seeing his moment right now, and I can't wait to see what he does next.
Yeah, and if you're listening, we'd love to have you on the podcast.
Yes. Hey, we
over for dinner and a swim in the pool. Okay. Okay. Jenny.
Yes.
This is a star on the rise.
Uh-huh.
Can you imagine any future roles that he could take on?
Oh, okay.
Like, we're talking kind of like iconic.
Like a remake of something.
Like an iconic character that you'd like to see him take on, or a remake of some sort. Doesn't have to be a remake. It could be something that's never been done.
You know, I would really like to see him in some kind of Paul Newman, Cary Grant set in that time period. So it's like a period piece.
Yeah.
You know, because Anyone But You is a modern movie.
Right.
I would like to see full, you know, 50s, 60s palette costuming, that kind of romantic comedy period piece. I think he would just kill that. I really do.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'd like to see, we saw him in Hidden Figures in a period piece, so he can do that.
So something with a little bit more depth.
A little bit more depth. Like he's the lead.
Yeah. Now let's lean into it a little bit more.
You know who I would really like to see him act across from?
Who's that?
Zendaya.
Oh, okay.
Like or Tessa Thompson. For some reason, I feel like their energy would be really interesting to see. So that's kind of what I'm picturing. What about you?
That's a good question. I should have thought about this for myself. You know, I think you make a really good point in me referencing the Cary Grant of it all. And now you mentioned the Paul Newman of it all. You know, he's got the same sort of vibe and energy that I think Paul Newman had, and even Robert Redford had, where, you know, they come to work, they get the job done. So, you know, it'd be nice to see him do something from that time period, either like a 50s comedy duo or something from the 60s or 70s that might be like a suspense or a thriller where he's you know, perhaps investigating something, you know, but he's the leading man. Let's put this dude
more leading roles.
I think he's great, and I hope that he has a long and successful career, and I look forward to seeing more of his work.
I do too.
All right, Jenny.
All right,
what's Unhinged this week?
So thrilled that you asked. We're gonna go back to Vanderpump Rules Corner.
Oh, we are.
We sure are.
Great.
Okay.
Thanks for the heads up.
So, as you all know, and I know Ryan knows, I am locked into the world.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. Giddy up.
All right. You're locked in.
Locked into the Vanderpump Rules world. So, Tom Sandoval is off. He is off the rails.
Okay. I'm going to need a chalkboard here.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do this. So, Tom Sandoval. Was in a relationship with Ariana Madix.
Tom and Ariana were the OG couple.
Sure. Okay. I'm not going to get into the weeds with that. Okay. They were together for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And then I guess almost a year ago now.
He
cheated on her
with her best friend,
Raquel.
Okay.
And they were having an affair
together
for 7 months.
They were all together.
They were all friends.
They were all friends. Was Tom still with Ariana?
Yes.
Okay, so
yeah,
an official cheat.
It was an official cheat. There was no
There was no
agreements. No.
Or time apart or.
And it's just been
group thing going on.
No.
Okay.
No. She found out, they broke up, and it started a movement, the scand of all of it all. And they filmed the next season of Vanderpump Rules like 2 or 3 months after this had happened. So it was still pretty fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's still in their feels.
Okay.
And he just comes off looking like a fucking asshole, even more than he already did.
Okay.
And I think he and the production, this is all alleged. These are my own thoughts.
Is this because he was unapologetic about it?
He was apologetic, but there was always like a but. A but, you know?
Yeah, there always is.
Yeah. So my thoughts and my opinions are my own.
Okay.
I don't know anything. I don't know any of these people.
Okay.
This is just what it comes across as a viewer. Production on Vanderpump Rules season 11, this last season, and Tom Sandoval, I think they were all counting on him being forgiven and him having like
by her or by
the audience.
Okay.
And he was going to have a redemption arc, and she was going to look like the asshole.
Okay, so they took the audience for granted.
They did, because when the show started out, when the show premiered, it was 2011 or 12. And yeah, the guys used to do horrible, horrible things, and everyone would still love them, right?
Okay.
But we're in a different time, thankfully.
The OC or Laguna Beach, Jersey Shore, and the real world, I can't even begin to count the number of times where these sort of situations were going down.
But the audience that was
a different time
in their early 20s then are now 30s, 40s now. And they're like, no, we're not buying that. Everybody has rallied around Ariana.
Right.
So he's spiraled.
Not to mention that their lives are not just now relegated to Fridays between 6 and 7 or whenever it comes out. It's 24 hours now that he's under surveillance and scrutiny by fans and
social media
and the pop culture. Okay.
So he's got a new girlfriend. Her name is Victoria Lee Robinson, who allegedly dated Leonardo DiCaprio.
Is this the young gal that y'all ran into when you went to?
No, that was who Tom Schwartz is dating.
Oh, sorry.
Who's
different?
He's on the show. There's 2 Toms. Sandoval and Schwartz.
Of course.
No, and I am unapologetic about my feelings. I think Schwartz is a 40-year-old man who's dating like a 24-year-old. I think it's weird. So Tom is dating Victoria Lee Robinson. He has been all over the show with this gal. A couple weeks ago, they did an Instagram live where Sandoval with Victoria Lee Robinson, and she's wearing this like blonde wig, and they're drunk. They're high. Like,
not the chick that he cheated with.
No.
Separate girlfriend.
New girlfriend. Good. And look, it is blatantly obvious that these people engage in drugs. Okay. And when I say drugs, schmugs, cocaine, pills, they admit to shrooms and weed, but they don't admit to the other stuff. And this is all alleged. I'm just saying it looks, that's what it seems like.
Okay.
Well, someone commented on his something recently and said, it's obvious he's doing blow. And Victoria Lee Robinson comments to that. The girlfriend says he's never touched blow a day in his life. These are supplements.
Oh. Supplements. Is that what they're calling them now?
So unhinged. Yeah. Okay. Look, we have all been around people in our lives who have been engaging in schmugs.
Extracurricular.
And we know what it looks like. I guarantee you, I'd put an episode of this show on, you'd be like, they're all on it. And and it's just,
you see that a lot with what's going on out there with the reality shows.
I think people with that kind of money and in LA, I think a lot of them are doing that. So
sure, and they're not afraid to put it on camera anymore.
I mean, there's a scene, and I can't remember which season it is, but it's when one of the people on the show are getting married. There are lines of white powder on a table in the background, and I'm like,
I don't want to yuck anyone's yum. Right. I'm not trying to like come down on them for living the life that they live. But I just wonder if the producers of the show understand how that can impact, the people beyond the show.
I think that's what's happening on the show now is that just, it's not the same show as it was in 2012.
Not to mention the energy of the show, right?
Right. Yeah. It used to be entertaining to see train wrecks.
Yeah.
But now in my age, I'm like, I still watch the show. So maybe it does work on me, but that's just what's unhinged for me this week. Seeing
Yeah,
this
I
go back
understand.
and forth in the line of like, he's never done blow in his life. And
So silly.
supplements. Girl.
Supplements. Come on.
To quote RuPaul's Drag Race, good God, get a grip, girl.
Yeah.
5 Gs. Anyway, that's what I got.
The train wreck of it all was something that was really thought-provoking after the death of Anna Nicole Smith. I think a lot of people really started thinking about, hey, what's the true impact of these shows on the individual who has so much pressure, not only from the machine, the Hollywood or the entertainment machine, and the pressure that the fans put on them to be a certain way. Yeah. And I can understand that it would build up. You need to release some steam, or you turn to things like supplements to take the edge off, or to make you feel more fun, or having a better time. I don't know what it might be,
I think you're right. And for me, and it goes back to our conversation about Glenn Powell, if you want to engage in supplements in your spare time,
sure.
That is not my business.
Right.
As long as you're not hurting anybody.
Right.
It's your life.
It's your life.
My thing is with the unhinged of it all is like,
when you become a public figure,
and if you're going to try to act like you're doing something and you're not in this whole, just don't even call attention to it.
That's it.
It's just unhinged. It's just weird.
She didn't have to say anything.
She didn't have to say anything, but she did. And now it's like, you guys just look insane. So yeah, that's the unhinged.
It is unhinged
situation in my life. Yeah. Cool. Anyway, well, it's not in my life, but it's what I'm engaging with.
Sure. Do we need to have a conversation?
It's just supplements, Ryan. Okay.
Nice touch.
Thanks. All right.
Okay. Thank you for listening to Once More Unhinged.
Yeah.
These episodes come out on Wednesdays. And be sure to check out our latest episodes of Once More, a Rewatch podcast, which come out every Friday. We are currently on Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 2.
It's about to get real good.
Yeah.
It's good, but it's about to get really good. Okay.
Yeah. So tune in and catch up. For more Unhinged content, please follow us on social media. We are at Once More Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Threads, and we are the Once More Pod on X. You can listen to us on Spotify, on YouTube, on Apple Music, on Amazon Music, and on iHeartRadio. And you can watch us on YouTube and Spotify. We are at Once More Podcast. I'm Ryan something.
And I'm Jen Katz. See you next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Are you okay with that?
I think so. That was fun.